Imagine a creature so fierce, so powerful, that even the mighty saber-toothed cats gave it respect. Imagine it disappearing from the earth, only to rise again through the power of modern science. This is not a fantasy. This is the shocking truth behind the resurrected dire wolves. For thousands of years, dire wolves ruled the Americas. Heavier, more muscular, and more brutal than today's gray wolves. These apex predators became legends, but then the Ice Age ended, and so did their reign. Or so we thought. Today, deep inside labs, through ancient DNA, a bold plan is unfolding to bring the dire wolves back from extinction. But how close are we really to resurrecting these beasts? And should we? Dire wolves, scientifically known as Oenesian duris, roamed North and South America over 10,000 years ago. They were not simply bigger gray wolves. They were an entirely different species, standing 2.5 feet at the shoulder and weighing up to 150 pounds. They hunted giant prey, mammoths, giant ground sloths, and massive bison, with bone-crushing jaws and powerful builds. Dire wolves weren't built for speed. They were built for war, yet, despite their strength, they vanished at the end of the Pleistocene epoch. Climate change, loss of prey, and competition from humans and other predators likely contributed to their extinction. For years, dire wolves were thought to be close cousins of modern wolves. But a shocking DNA study published in 2021 rewrote history. Scientists extracted and sequenced DNA from dire wolf fossils and discovered they weren't wolves at all. In fact, they were a completely different branch of the canid family, separated by over 5 million years of evolution. They were more closely related to African jackals and foxes than to gray wolves. They evolved independently into a wolf-like form because it was successful. If dire wolves are so genetically distinct, how can they be resurrected? The answer lies in de-extinction science, the same frontier working to revive mammoths. Using recovered dire wolf DNA, scientists hope to edit the genomes of closely related modern animals, creating a creature as close to a dire wolf as possible. We might use CRISPR technology to insert ancient genes into embryo cells of modern canines. It's not cloning, it's recreation. But it won't be perfect. Without a full dire wolf genome, scientists must make educated guesses, creating an animal that may resemble, but not exactly replicate, the dire wolves of old. The excitement of seeing dire wolves roam again stirs the imagination, but it raises serious ethical questions. Where would these creatures live? Could they survive in modern ecosystems? Could they spread new diseases, disrupt environments, or even threaten humans? But here's where the shocking truth begins to unravel. While the idea of resurrecting dire wolves sounds thrilling, the science isn't as simple as cloning a sheep or bringing back a woolly mammoth. You see, dire wolves aren't just larger versions of today's gray wolves. Recent genetic studies, groundbreaking ones, have revealed something astonishing. Dire wolves were a completely different species, not just cousins of wolves, but more like distant relatives who took a separate evolutionary path nearly 5 million years ago. Scientists discovered that dire wolves are closer to ancient jackals and foxes than to the wolves we know today. This means that the DNA we have isn't easily compatible with any living wolf species. There is no close relative to fill in the gaps in their genome. Resurrecting dire wolves isn't just about inserting missing genes into a modern host. It would require rebuilding an entire creature from scratch, a nearly impossible feat with today's technology. And even if scientists managed to do the impossible, would the world be ready for them? Imagine reintroducing a creature designed for a brutally competitive ice age into today's fragile ecosystems. Dire wolves were apex predators. They were built for a world of giants, fighting massive bison, hunting down horses, and scavenging with saber-toothed cats. Their sheer size, power, and pack instincts would make them unmatched predators today. Not only would they threaten existing wildlife, but their existence could also clash with human populations. Would they be confined to preserves, living behind electrified fences? Would we dare risk unleashing them into the wild, hoping nature would somehow balance itself? Or would we, once again, be forced to become the hunters of an animal we chose to resurrect? The story of the dire wolf resurrection isn't just about marveling at the past. It's a cautionary tale. It forces us to ask deeper questions. If we have the power to bring back the past, should we? For now, dire wolves remain as echoes in the fossil beds of La Breatar pits. Frozen in time, their bones tell stories of fierce hunts, of brutal winters, and of an ancient world now gone. And perhaps that's where they are meant to stay. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is to remember, not to resurrect. For 10,000 years, they lay silent beneath the earth, their story unfinished, their howls silenced. But today, science stands on the edge of a decision so profound. It could rewrite history. What if we could bring the dire wolf back? Not in legend, not in holograms, but in flesh and blood. Scientists have already achieved miracles, cloning sheep, resurrecting frozen seeds, recreating fragments of extinct genomes, and now they turn their gaze to the lost predators of the Ice Age. But the dire wolf is different, built for survival, bred for war, shaped by an unforgiving world. They were bigger, stronger, and fiercer than any wolf alive today, hunting in coordinated packs, taking down prey far larger than themselves. But here's the shocking truth. Even if we could resurrect the dire wolf, we might not recognize what comes back. Over millennia, ecosystems have changed. Prey species have vanished. Forests have become cities. Would the resurrected dire wolf adapt? Or would it become an unstoppable predator in a fragile modern world? Some scientists argue that nature should not be forced backward. That extinction, though tragic, is a final chapter, a warning carved into the fossil record. Others believe that resurrection could unleash unintended consequences. Genetic diseases, aggression, ecological collapse if they return. Would they recognize us as masters of this world, or just prey? Long ago, humans painted their fears on stone walls. Warnings across time? Maybe. Some legends should stay buried. Maybe the dead should remain at rest. If you found this journey through forgotten time fascinating, subscribe for more deep dives into ancient mysteries and shocking truths. The past has many secrets, and we're just getting started.